Hello everyone, so this is Sergio with a new application built on AWS. So before we jump into the architecture, I want to make a clarification. I'm going to be testing the front end locally. What I actually built and what I put a lot of effort in was the backend, which is built with the AWS infrastructure. So without further ado, I think we should jump right into it. So as you can see in the screen, we have the backend, that is the VPC. Um, so we have the VPC, we have an internet gateway so we can have access to the internet. We have an application balancer that loads, that balances the load um, amongst the availability zones within the private subnets and the resources. We have the ECS cluster. So say for instance we have two tasks scheduled for the cluster. So what the load balancer is going to do is that as soon as it gets the request from the client, it's going to load balance to those two containers slash tasks, and it's going to distribute the load of that. Now we have, as we can see, we have a multi-AC deployment. In both ACs we have a private and a public subnet. In the private subnet we have the ECS cluster where our web application is running, and we have in one of them an RDS instance. Now these resources are within security groups to allow or deny certain traffic. For example, the security group of the RDS instance allows traffic in the port that PostgreSQL runs on. I believe it's 5432, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, that's what the security groups are for. And then we have our route tables that are attached to the subnets. So these route tables allow us to access different resources within the our AWS environment. For example, say for instance the RDS needs to access the internet. So say for instance we have the rule 0.0.0.0/0, which is for the internet. That redirects us to the NAT gateway, not to the internet directly, but to the NAT gateway to initiate a connection from our instance to the internet. Now, other devices outside our AWS environment can't directly access our resources unless we initiate the connection. So that is what the NAT gateway is for. And this NAT gateway is in the public subnet. Now we have, of course, the route table attached to the public subnet as well, obviously different rules, and we have an ECR image. Now the developer, in this case me, pushes the image to ECR, so that image is used by the containers in the ECS cluster. That is what the ECR is for. So I think that is pretty much it on the general overview side. I think we should jump right into the demo. So I already have a user registered. I didn't put this in the architecture diagram, but we're doing the authentication with Cognito. So I'm just gonna go ahead and log in with my user gmail.com and type password. I'm gonna sign in. So here we have the entries I already have created. So I can delete the entries, I can edit them, I can do all sorts of stuff. So say for instance I want to create a new entry. So I'm gonna say the title is 123. I can put the date here. It's not really important the application itself for this case. It's more the AWS site that I worked on. So as you can see, we can create entries, we can delete entries, we can get our entries. It's a pretty simple application, nothing fancy to be honest, but yeah. So I'm gonna show you guys the infrastructure here. I mean the AWS console, so you can see like the resources and what I use them for. So this Bastion host I use here, which is just an EC2 instance, is for I use it to access like resources in the private subnets. It was a easy, quick way for me to access and do little manual stuff I had to do. I could have automated certain things, which I should have, but for time constraints and I didn't want to take too much into these little things, so I did it manually. For example, the database schema definition, I did it manually from Bastion host. I just connected to the instance and connected to the PostgreSQL database, and I just created the database manually, the schema. So that is easy too, as you can see here. Cognito, like I said before, for creating the users. So as you can see here, we have the users, register, confirm, etc. We also create them in the database, of course, to create the relations. We have the database, of course, as you can see here. We have the actual, this is the cluster and this is the service. As you can see, we have two tasks running, which is the desired count. We're using Fargate, so we don't manage any servers at all. And then we have obviously the Elastic Container Registry, which is where we push the images that are going to be used for by the tasks in the ECS cluster. We have the net gateways, so we can access the internet from our private resources. We have, of course, the here we have the images that we upload in the for the entry. For example, I can, as you can see here, we can upload images. Say for instance, I have an image here, whatever image. I can go ahead, upload it here, create the entry, and it's gonna upload that image to the S3 bucket. So I think, guys, that is pretty much it. Hope you guys learned something from here. These videos are mostly for me, like to document my journey and what I've done, the projects. I obviously can't let this run in a lot of time because of this architecture consumes a lot of resources. I believe some of them are not in the free tier, such as the net gateway, so I have really few time to run these. So that is why I run these in the video, so I can have them recorded. See, we have the user here, the entries. Well, I'm not gonna show the entries right now, or let me see, is it all from travel entries? Really, this. Yeah, so we have the travel entries here, we have everything in the database. I believe that's it. Some of the things I could have improved on are, like I said, more automation. For example, the database schema definition. I should have done it with automation, but again, I wanted to do this as quickly as possible. I learned a great deal of things with this project, but the automation side, yeah, that's one thing that I could have improved on. More organization in the environments, for example, production and development. I use, for example, the same env file for production and development, and some things in the code I shouldn't have, but again, for fast development I did it that way. The secrets, the secrets as well. I could have managed that with the secrets manager, AWS secrets manager. That's another thing we could have improved on. And finally, DNS and HTTPS for secure encryption of data. The load balancer I'm using is using just HTTP, not HTTPS. So that's one thing we could have improved on. And I think that is pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoy the video. See you in the next one.